Hello, I am Karen Rae. This is Fave Lifestyles. We are a lifestyle brand connecting you to the experts so you can create your Fave life. And today we are going to be talking a little bit about finances. And I have Victoria Sexton here. Victoria, welcome to Fave Lifestyles.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and so just so ladies, so you know, life you just have to go with it because we've had some technical issues this morning and bouncing in and out and trying to get our mics to work. You know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So we are here. We are going to be talking about, and I love this topic. It's effortless. If I can even say the word effortless money, taking the stress out of finances. Oh my goodness, how many of you ladies worry, think about finances, think about how maybe you own a business or, you know, and it just piles up on top. It's like you're carrying this weight around with you. So Victoria, I'm super excited that we are going to be talking about this. So let's tell the ladies just a little bit about you and how you got started in finances and how you got to this point.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. How did I get started in this? So I've worked with money my entire adult life. And actually, so I had a father who I think didn't know how to have a daughter. And so he taught me about all the things that he would teach a boy, like a son. You know, I'm the only girl of the family, right? So he taught me about the stock market, about business, about how to read a balance sheet when I was a teenager. And I just thought this was normal. I thought this was like everybody else was reading the Wall Street Journal with their dad, right? And until I got to college that I was like, okay, this isn't normal.
No.
So I was I was fortunate enough to have this foundation where I could ask a lot of questions and I could get curious, and a big deal if, let's say, I bought a stock or a mutual fund and it tanked. It wasn't a big deal. My dad would be like, nah, moving on, right? So there wasn't a whole lot of shame and judgment around money. So I spent a lot of time in the corporate world doing corporate finance and then was a financial advisor for a while. And then I was like, I just felt called to help women in a different way. There's like no other way to say it other than I felt like my girls need help. They need resources and I'm going to be the one to help them. So, and that's when I started my own company. And so really like my big passion is about helping women with their money and making it easy and not scary and not shameful or judgmental or any of the things that we, you know, put upon ourselves about our money. But let's just make it a little bit easier because I think we need life to be a little bit easier right now.
Yes, and do you find a lot of women, so you are a financial coach, and do you find a lot of women, especially kind of in that 50 plus range, that have a lot of fears around finances?
Yes. Yes. I hear this over and over again from brilliant women. Brilliant women. I mean, some of them have like run their own company for years or they have had major achievements, but they tell me they're like, I'm scared of my money. I'm scared of making the wrong choice. And and it's just amazing to me. I'm like, well, we could do this. We could figure this out. But with money comes its own set of fears, right? So that's what I'm trying to do is like, let's take the scary out of money and let's make things easy on ourselves. And that way we can really feel like we're getting going on our goals. And our goal isn't just hanging out there for us, like judging us silently, you know?
It's like we put it like it's a little person out there, you know, like talking to us or something, you know. And I am a woman myself who has gone through a lot of transitions, and you know, where I would take care of the daily finances, and my spouse would take care of the big stuff. So I was not used to taking care of money. And now that I am single, it's like that confidence. You want to have the confidence, and you mentioned it too, around making those decisions. You want to make the right decisions. So let's talk a little bit about mindset around that, because like, how do you handle those fears? Because you help people with strategies and to help take that stress away. So what's the first thing maybe in the mindset that you would tackle, or tips that you can give us?
So I will just talk with you about fear for a second. And fear, shame, and judgment are what I call the trifecta of things that will just mess you up in regards to your mindset, right? And so I'll share a little story with you real quick. So when I moved from corporate finance to becoming a financial advisor, like, you have to go out and get your own leads. You have to essentially be your own marketing person.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was used to being behind the scenes. So for me to go out and talk with a bunch of people about like, hey, here's what I do, and here's my business card, and like, you want to do business with me, was terrifying. And I would sit in my car and I would consider driving away. And
Yeah,
I
I can
found
relate.
that I had to, right, I found that I had to really identify my fear. And I heard someone was saying, if you name your fear, it doesn't have any power over you. So I don't think we were talking about doing it this way, but I gave my fear a name. So my fear's name is Olga. And I would sit in the car, like, I can't even make this up, right? So I'd sit in the car and I'd be like, get you, Olga. Only I wouldn't say forget you, right? I'd be like, forget you, Olga. I'm going to go do it anyway. And you can't talk to me like that. And it was the dumbest little, like, if you were on the street, you'd be like, what is this lady doing? But it really got me out of the place where I was stuck in fear. So I would say whatever you can do to get out of the fear mode, whether that is go for a walk around the block, like do a pillow, like, I don't know, whatever you need to do to get like physically moving, get into action, and not stuck in the place of fear, is where you should start.
Yes, it's a great idea. So what about the because there's different fears, and one of them is making the right choice, making the right decisions. Should you do this or should you do that? How do you kind of address that in mindset? Is there anything else?
Look, we only know what we know. Okay. And
Mm,
I say this as someone who, like, I took all the nerdy tests and I passed the Series 7, and I know all the things about the investments, right?
right.
So, but you only know what you know at that time. And so when life happens, you can't go back and retroactively been like, oh, I should have known. You only know what you know. And all you
Yeah.
can do is make the best decisions with the information that you have at the time. So for me, resources are really big. And part of my resources are finding my people who will tell it straight, right? So surrounding yourself with people like that, because I'd say, Sally over here, she doesn't do bookkeeping, but she does taxes. And maybe she knows a bookkeeper who can answer this question for me. Having those
Mhm.
kinds of resources, that kind of network, can be really powerful, because you feel like you're not alone. You're not in a bubble.
Right. Having some girlfriends support you. Yeah, so, and that's actually why we bring you
Yes.
women like you to Fave Lifestyles, because we want the women here to have the resources and to find the right person. And I know myself, just going through transitions, and so many women in 50 plus are going through, we've got major life transitions to go through. And changing from, going from, where you have your kids and going to maybe just you or you and your spouse. I mean, your finances are changing so much. But to have those resources like people like you is just so comforting to know that, we can connect with you and access you and have access to you and to ask you questions. Yes. So, so education is big, and tapping into those girlfriends who have the knowledge. So what are some of the systems? What are some of the things that you can do as far as, because you help women create some systems, is that correct?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
And I am one of those people where just because there is a system like QuickBooks does not mean that it works for you and your brain, right? I think that everyone's brain works differently, right? I would go crazy if I had to balance things to the penny. Like, that's just not, like, that's just going to drive me nuts. Like, surprisingly enough, when I work in finance. But so I think that everyone needs to realize that there are these systems out there that work for one person, but it may not work for you. And if it's not working for you, that doesn't mean that, like, you're a failure or you can't do it or whatever. It just means you haven't found the right system for you. So I start, like, when I work with my private clients, I start with what like really does your brain like? Are you a top level person? Do you want to see the nitty gritty? And then we kind of build from there. In terms of a system that anyone can use, I feel like you need one central location for all your financial documents. And then you can start to look through them and say, do I need this for tax time? Maybe I have to scan this and put it in the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, all of this is really boring stuff that honestly, like, we stall and we put off. And I even did. Yes, I had a whole like tragedy before tax season because I stalled on my own tax stuff for my business. But anyway, so I think that, like, you can even start with just a shoebox, like, gather all of your financial documents, put it in one location, and then you can start to get more organized. You can figure out, do I need to keep this at all? Maybe I can shred it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's taking those baby steps like that I think makes it less scary. So, put on your favorite music and have a glass of wine and go through your bills that way, but make it easier for you, whatever that would entail.
Mm-hmm. So tell me too, so who do you mostly work with? Do you work with women entrepreneurs, or what kind of, because do you also have systems around helping women create wealth, and maybe in whether it be courses or things like that? Tell me a little bit about that.
So most of my clients who want something like strategy, like a lot of times clients I work with are like, I just got this inheritance. I have no idea what to do with this. But like, what do I do with it? Right. That's more of financial strategy. And that's something I do help clients with. But that's not 90% of my clients. Like 90% of my clients are looking for more of the system, along with the mindset. But yeah, I totally nerd out on the financial strategy piece because I think it's super interesting, and I know that not everybody else does. So,
So let's talk a little bit more about. I love how you talk about tapping into that inner wealthy woman. What does that entail?
yeah. So this is what I figured out when I was a financial advisor, is that clients would come into me and they would say, I have these goals. I want to be here and I'm here. And so we're going to come up with a plan to get there. But then they didn't really like believe that it was possible for them. It's like we had a plan on paper, but they didn't really buy into it. And what I found is,
Could
sorry,
you
what
give
was
us
that?
Yeah. Oh, could you give us an example? Sorry, we have a little bit of a lag in the audio here, but could you give us a little example of that? Do you have a story?
Yeah, I do. I had a client, actually, it was like initial first meeting. Poor lady did not know how wacky I was. So she comes in, she talks to me, and she says, I can't seem to make any more than $80,000. And I have all these goals, and I put together this business plan. I want to make $100,000. And I said, okay, well, talk to me more about that. And so she's talking with me about like she got a couple requests for proposals. Well, I haven't done exactly that thing before. And I'm like, but you are in the neighborhood of that thing. I mean, it's like saying that I haven't done flower arrangements for weddings, but I do them for birthday parties, right? So
Mm.
so the same type of thing. And so she kept turning down these client proposals. And then she's telling me, she goes, but I want to make another $20,000 a year. And this is where my mouth gets me into trouble, right? I just like, it just kind of came out. I put down my pen and I'm like, stop telling your money to F off. Like, this is not like an actual, like you don't have the ability to make money issue. You have a block with the number or the business or whatever. There's something else going on. The mindset and the strategy aren't in sync.
Mm. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Our minds are sometimes limiting us from making money that we're have sitting on the table there for us. Sounds like.
Right. Our minds are very powerful. And when I first thought of this concept of the well woman, what I realized was, like, for a long time, people like athletes and high performers have been using visualization to help them really, like, imagine that they've crossed the finish line or purchased that business or made $1 million or whatever it is. But we can use that same type of concept to help us reach our financial goals. But see, the thing is, if you don't believe, like if you don't buy into it, don't see yourself achieving those goals, it all kind of falls apart. So this is
Mm.
why I think it's really important to have that visualization piece as part of our overall strategy, because you have to imagine yourself in that life.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? All these little pieces, and we hear about these things, but how many women actually put it into practice? How many women, I would love to know, how many women do the visualize, technique? Or I know I've also heard, using all your senses to describe it as you're visualizing too. You're smelling it, you're, tasting it, you're feeling the money or whatever. So, and then some of the ladies here are saying it's super interesting. And Kathy is saying this community is great, full of great resources. Yes. And you know what? Like you were talking about, tapping into the women who can help educate us and help us feel good about taking that next step, because we've got so many great women, just like yourself. So I came upon today, and we talked a little bit about this ahead of time too. Oh, yeah, she's saying I became a better visualizer. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit
Nice.
about that visualization. So let's say you have a goal, like let's say, in your example, she wanted to make $100,000. And so how would you kind of go about visualizing that? What are some of the things that you would incorporate?
So for me, this is me. Some people like are big vision boarders, and I think that they're great if they work for you. For me, the secret sauce is I need to think of how will I feel when I accomplish my goals, and just kind of sit with that for a minute, And I've noticed that, like, when I spend time doing that, weird synchronicitous things happen that just pop up, right? But it's sitting with the feeling of how will I feel when I accomplish my goals? I know I'm going to accomplish my goals. I'm really grateful for accomplishing my goals. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. that is way more powerful than I hope it'll happen.
Yeah.
Right. So, I feel like we're sending messages. This is where I get really woo, right? So I feel like we're sending messages to the universe all the time about our lives. And and that includes our money. And so when we are really hesitant in regards to our money, then it's like we're sending a signal to ourselves and to the world saying, yeah, I don't know about that. So I would say any way that you can tap into your knowing that whatever you want is coming to you, that gratitude piece, really sitting with the feeling of how are you going to feel when you accomplish your goals. I mean, that's all part of like manifesting, right? That's all a part of like really putting what you want out into the universe. Like I said, this is the woo stuff for me. But what I found is that it is really powerful. Is really powerful if you can do that. And isn't it great to have a shortcut? Because I
Yes.
think, I like a shortcut, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some comments going on over here. So let's, I can't always see who is saying it just because we're on StreamYard. So ladies, if you can put your name down there too, we'd love to get to see who is here. One of the gals, ladies are saying, doing it, but it's not very easy for me. And I can totally relate with that because I was going through some situations where I could not visualize, I could not see the future at all. So yeah, I had these limiting beliefs that I was stuck in the money situation. So, but I love what you said though, is how do you want to feel when you've accomplished your
Yeah.
goal? To me, that makes more sense than visualizing. Because sometimes when I think of visualizing, I think, oh, it's a dream or whatever, but I like that. How do you want to feel?
Yeah.
But
To
I
me,
can
that's the secret sauce.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Another one of the ladies is saying, love this. I totally believe that what we put out comes back to us. So put out all the positivity and believe that anything can happen for us. Absolutely. Let's see, one of my affirmations is I am earning $100,000 in commissions from my top 3 travel partners. Yay. And that's Lily. Good. Awesome. Ladies, yes, let's work together. We can support each other and achieve these goals. So, Victoria, I just love what we're talking about today. So tell me a little bit about something that has come out of the pandemic for you. It looks like a podcast.
Yes, definitely. My podcast. My podcast is called Don't Play with Trash. That's right. And this was actually a piece of advice that somebody gave me. I was stressed out. I was really worried about clients and like, and I was trying to make things happen and they weren't happening. And I was, frustrated. And I was grabbing coffee with friends. And this one person who I don't know very well, she was just like looked very blasé. And she goes, darling, stop playing with the trash. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm worrying about all these little things. And that's true. I should stop focusing my attention on all of that. And it was such one-liner that I was like, I feel like this is my new motto in life. Don't play with trash.
Don't play with the trash, ladies. Yes. So, and it sounds like it has a little bit of humor and is a little bit raw and real along the way too.
Definitely. Yes. You may catch a curse word. This is why I check the explicit box just in case.
Oh yes, you know what? Oh, love it. We just really want to be real. Like we want to tackle those real problems, those real feelings, and all move forward together and support each other. Victoria, thank you so much for being with us today. So you have something for the ladies. You have, I believe, let's see. You have a 5-minute effortless. That's okay. Sometimes there's words that you just cannot say. That's one of them for me. Effortless money.
Yes.
Enunciate.
Yes. So I would love to share with everybody. This is one of my free resources. It's 5 minutes to effortless money.
Yay.
And what was I put together a video and a checklist. So the idea is set a timer for yourself and see how many things you can get done. And if we
Hmm.
do this every day, we're going to know where we stand financially, and we're going to have more confidence in our ability to deal with our own money, because it's just going to become second nature. So grab your phone, set a timer, use the checklist, and yeah, see what comes up.
Excellent. So you will put that in the comments. If we don't, I think or do we already have it in there? Oh, yes. And so if the ladies would like to know more about you or reach out to you with any questions, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on victoriasexton.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, Victoria Sexton Financial Coach. And real quick, if anybody finds that like they need extra support right now, I am starting a like just a super special thing called my Wealthy Woman Money Circle, which is going to be support, resources, financial education, and we're going to meet twice a month so that women who are at the point where they're like, enough, I need to be in a different space financially, they have the resources to do that. So that is on victoriasexton.com as well.
Okay, great. And you can also put that in the comments as well for the ladies to refer to that. So,
Perfect.
and love having you here, Victoria. It's so wonderful to have you in our little pocket of resources, if you will, that the ladies can reach out to you. So welcome to Fave Lifestyles, and just loved having you with us today. So any parting words you would like to leave with the ladies?
What would I like to tell people today? I just want people to know that 2020 was a crazy year. I feel like this is the year where people are regrouping, and
Mm-hmm.
wherever you started at the beginning of this year financially, that's not where you have to end up. And it's possible to end up in a different place that's more positive, that feels better to you. Um, and yeah, if you need any help getting there, I would be happy to be that resource for you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you for joining us. This is Fave Lifestyles. Again, we are a lifestyle brand. I invite you over to favelifestyles.com, where you can find all the resources. And if you are an expert and would like to come and be featured on our show or be part of our member experts guiding our community, please feel free to reach out. My DMs are always open. So have a fabulous day, ladies. We'll see you next time.